Hello everybody and welcome back to another one of those videos where I talk about updates in the Steam version of Dwarf Fortress coming from Toady1 and KitFox. We got two more blog posts for you. These ones are both from Tarn. If you want to skip the part where I read, as always, skip to here. You still with us? All right, let's get into it. Tarn posts on the 27th. Continuing along through what has been a summerly hot couple of days. Not so hot as last year so far, thankfully, and no tornado warnings either. This may be a permanent state of affairs now as things draw closer to release. But there is action from all directions. Whether that be art or music or graphics tech, some monitor resolution tests in this case, or what have you. While the regular work I'm used to on the code side keeps right along, artists moved on to their next batch of updates. Carolyn's gone from interface stuff to vegetation, and Jacob's gone from items to buildings, and we should have some more screenshots soon. From my end specifically, it's been technical stuff I need to catch up on. Textures get cleaned up now rather than sticking around and muddying up subsequent playthroughs, and I did some playing around with FMod, our sound library, to make sure I can handle everything incoming there. And I made some changes needed for displaying some fancy new gear assemblies, and I think it'll be like this for a while. Hopping between tech stuff I need to do, accessibility stuff I need to do, and bug. The tutorial text, init and settings pages, and the keyboard stuff are the highest priority I'm working on now, along with tasks to keep other people unblocked. And then the post from the time of recording from Tarn says, I got started on the settings menu. Switching between windowed and full screen mode has always been fast with F11, but now additionally, in the settings video tab, you can get a drop-down list of available resolutions if you'd like to switch for any reason during play. I'm currently adding the rest of the options from the dinit and _init to various tabs. Yesterday, I handled the file I/O. You'll normally leave the data and init files alone. Instead, your changes would be saved over in a prefs folder. You won't need to touch these outside of the game if you don't want to, but if you like messing with texts, they'd be there to fiddle with, and updates of the game you download would never overwrite your changes. It will need to overwrite the default files when new options are added, etc. Settings are available from the title screen and afterward, but the embark difficulty options become available in their own tab once you start play. You also see them when you embark. It's a subject of discussion whether there should be some sort of Iron Dwarf mode that prevents the player from accessing them, since I know people can go either way on that. There'll probably be a thing or two like that. I'm putting FPS sensitive stuff like temperature and weather over in a different section, and you'll always have available regardless of how that shakes out. So diving right in, we have these kind of two bits that I really want to highlight from these two posts from Tarn. The first one is FMod and the sound library. There's been a lot of discussion as to various sound effects being added to the game as part of Premium. One of the things is like noise coming from workshops, talking of dwarves, and that kind of background babble. And this gets me kind of excited to see what exactly is coming in. Even just like music changing based on how deep you are into the world. Little things like that. All of this is kind of speculation from me, but him working on the FMod stuff on the sound library is very exciting to me. The second thing that I really wanted to highlight here is the settings. The fact that literally everything is being crammed into the settings menu means this is going to be one of the biggest settings menus I've seen since maybe that crazy nightmare that was in Serious Sam 3 BFE? Yeah, I can't remember what. Serious Sam 3. That thing had like... It had settings menus in its settings menus. It was nuts. This is going to be a really big settings menu. But the thing that I think is kind of neat is the ability to access the difficulty options at any time. I'm kind of like neither here nor there on adding a Iron Dwarf mode or some sort of Iron Man mode. Just because like... Dwarf Fortress has always, like, to people who think that Dwarf Fortress is like this impenetrable permadeath nightmare thing, it really isn't. You can set up autosaves to happen very frequently, and also you can save scum and like jump back to things pretty simply, and all of the difficulty options are just accessible via an init file. You might not know where they are, but they've always been there, and I don't see why they would need to add something like that. Maybe add something like that for streamer challenges or some bullshit like that, but outside of that, the game is so contortable, it doesn't, once you know how to play, these difficulty options are kind of almost irrelevant, I would might say. All of that being said, what do you think of these two posts? I think that they're kind of small, but it's nice to see stuff coming along. I do kind of have an announcement to make alongside of this video. Now, this isn't the full announcement. This is only a partial announcement. I've already sent it out to my subscribers, but in the coming days, there will be a video announcing another talk with Tarn Adams. He's going to be joining me on stream on the 14th of this month, so it's the 14th of July at 3 p.m. Pacific. So there will be a video on the 11th next week where you will be able to submit questions. Outside of that, it's up on the Patreon right now if people want to submit them early, and it's also up on the subscriber section of my Discord. Thank you very much for watching these videos, and thank you very much for supporting me, and I look forward to reading your questions to Tarn next week.